Hello folks, Brad Hurst here again today with a very short video regarding two signs going to take place over a 2-day period. One sign is going to be a lunar eclipse, and the other one is going to be a conjunction between Venus and Jupiter, and they're going to take place only 2 days apart. So it's kind of a unique situation we have here. So let's just have a look here real quick and see what we've got. First of all, we're going to look at our lunar eclipse. Here's our lunar eclipse. You can see it highlighted there with the red around it, and you can simply see you have the two twins, or should we say the twins of Gemini. You can see them sitting right up here. I'll kind of circle this. This is Gemini, and this is kind of the area we're looking at right here. And you can see the moon right here, and the moon is actually in eclipse time. Look at the time down here at 12:21. We'll show a highlighted version of the moon at that south. But what's interesting about these twins is that this particular twin right here, he's the second half. The first one up on top, he's known as the immortal, and he's known as the redeemer. And then the other one is he's mortal, and he's known as the judge. And in this particular case, this lunar eclipse is going to take place in the right arm of the judge. And does that mean anything? I'm just stating a fact here. That's kind of what we're seeing, and we'll get into this a little bit more here as we look at this. Let's get rid of these marks here and go on to our next slide. You can see that the moon is quite dark. In fact, each time I actually run this gets actually darker. And the reason why that is I believe that the astronomy program is accounting for all the particulate matter that is in the atmosphere right now from volcanic activity of last year, including the Tubbs fire, the Carr fire, the Camp fire, the Woolsey fire, the Mendocino Complex fire, which burned hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres of wildland here in California. Thousands of homes and hundreds of thousands of acres was burnt. So there's a lot of particulate matter. So this is probably going to be a very, very dark lunar eclipse, and it's going to be in the right hand of the part of the twins of Gemini that is that twin is actually known as the immortal, and he's judge. It's going to be in his right hand. You can run with that and do what you want with it, but I'm just laying the facts out there for you. So that eclipse is going to be seen in a large portion of the world. Let's have a look here at this map. Not only is it going to be a total eclipse, as you can see here, it's going to be in the Earth's umbra. And since it's going to be so close, it's going to be quite long for an eclipse. And in addition to that, it's going to be seen in a large part of the world. Let's go to our map here. Here's our map, and you can see that the area which the eclipse is actually going to be seen essentially is right through this whole area, right through here. All right, and then into over here as well. So it's going to be seen across a large portion of the world. In some places, they're going to see it at when the moon's setting. Places like us, we're going to see it in around the late part of the night, and then other places it's going to see it at moonrise. And so it's going to be seen essentially from what it looks like. It's going to be seen from Iran all the way into looks like parts of Japan. So a large portion of the geographic the geographic portions of the world are going to see it. Most of the world's actually going to see this. And so this is kind of significant because they're usually not seen to this level. They're usually seen only in one hemisphere or another. Both hemispheres, Eastern and Western, are going to see it, and the Southern and the Northern hemisphere is going to see it as well. So this is very, very significant in the size, in the idea that it's actually going to be seen in a large portion of the world. So that's our lunar eclipse. It'll take place on January 20th. It's going to be in January. It'll be a very, very close. It'll be big. It'll be dark, and it'll last a long time and be seen almost Looks like about 3/4 of the world's population will actually see it. So yeah, very significant. And it won't. This type of eclipse will not take place again until 2037. Two days later, in the morning, at right around 4:25 a.m., at least here on the West Coast by San Francisco, which is where I'm at, we are going to have a convergence of Jupiter and Venus in the foot of the snake holder, whose left foot is preparing to step on the head of the scorpion, which in the ancient world was known as the symbol of death. And so this type of convergence or conjunction like this is not very, very rare. But what is rare is where it shows up, and what is rare is it's showing up in the morning time. And what's even more rare is it's showing up in a almost conjunction with another astronomical event, and that being the lunar eclipse itself. So is the rapture going to happen on this day? No, it is not. I'm a firm believer that the rapture is going to take place on the Feast of Trumpets. And so any prognosticator is going to be out there is going to be basically throwing a whole concept of the fulfillment of the Jewish festivals on the very feast days themselves. They're going to throw that under the bus. So many people were on the bandwagon, a year and a half, a couple years ago with 2017 and the Feast of Trumpets and the rapture and what have you. And I believe that was a very, very significant sign, and it is telling us that we're in the time to start watching. I believe that with all my heart. I even wrote a book, Systematic Eschatology, that incorporated some of that. But at the end of that, I speculated that it is quite possible that the rapture could happen then, but I didn't think that it actually would. So I thought that there were other events that take place, but the astronomical signs that have been underway since then and the geopolitical developments that are taking place in the Middle East, and with how that's taking place, we're watching a lot of things unfold right now. And so I do believe they need to be watching and praying that we might be counted worthy to escape. I do believe the rapture is a bit off in the future. How far off, I don't know, at least a few years. But we are seeing the signs. We're seeing like a giant cuckoo clock going off in the heavens. And while we watch that, we watch developments here on Earth. And if you're, if you want to get an idea of what we're talking about, go ahead and look at my series on the doctrine of Antichrist. That'll give you an idea of what we're looking for. I don't believe the rapture is going to happen yet. I still wait for the rise of the man of lawlessness or the man of sin. I'm waiting for the great apostasy, and there's a couple of other things I'm watching for. But definitely in pre-tribulation, and look for a pre-tribulation rapture. But I do believe that there are a couple of events that got to take place beforehand, and we're watching for those. And I believe that we're kind of on the horizon of seeing those take place. And so I think that we're not very far in terms of actually grand scale of things, but I think we're a few years away. So anyway, let's just keep watching and praying, and we'll keep posting as we find things. We're not here to stretch things out and try to make things fit. We're just to put them up there, and you can run with this how you want. Thank you for your time.